creator, and welcome back to a new video. And I'm so excited to film this video because this is my everything I knit in 2023. I have wanted to make this video ever since I started knitting, and this is my first full year of knitting. So I started knitting back in July of 2022, if I'm correct. However, I only really got into patterns around September, and I didn't really finish a lot that first year or so, or those first few months of knitting actually. And this time I did quite a bit in 2023, and I'm gonna share everything with you. I'll be linking all the patterns below. I normally only link my Ravelry page, which I also will link, but I will link every pattern that I used. I will talk about if I liked it, if I would make it again, how I like the fit, a lot about the yarn, of course. So it's definitely gonna be a very fun, full-packed video, as you know for me. They can be really packed, so I will try to keep it a little bit not short, but not too much, you know? But I will try. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm really excited, and I can't wait to start. Also, if you're new here, I'm Fem. I'm the face behind the Mindful Creators, and I make YouTube videos. I am a yarn dyer, and this is also the first year that I started dyeing. So I started dyeing around the summer. You have some few things in here that I dyed up myself, which are really fun. And I also have an online community group. But this video is fully about my knits, and we're gonna go through it in chronological order, by the way, because I love it the most myself. I have my notes down here, so if I look to the side or read on something, you know why. I will have to pull through this pile, and it probably will fall apart, but that's all okay. But yeah, sit back, relax, and now we're really going to dive into my knits. First things first, I will tell you a little bit later about what I'm wearing, but I will tell you already that this is my favorite knit of this year. I love it, it's perfect. I will definitely make it again, but I will tell you later. Something else that I'm wearing, I'm gonna try to show this, but I'm wearing some socks that I didn't make this year, but I really want to shout out because I love them. These are the Love Heart socks by From Devon with Love UK, and I just love them. I made them in 2022, and I completely recommend them. And that's what I'm wearing today. But let's get into our first knit, which are actually also socks. And let me pull them from here. So as I said, the socks that I'm wearing were the first socks that I ever made, and these are my second pair. So I started these, I think, almost immediately January, first week of January, and these are the Easy Peasy socks by Karolina Adamczyk. These are really fun. They look a little rough because I wear them a ton, like a few times a week probably. They do need a wash too. Yeah, this is just a really fun color work sock pattern. And I actually used one skein of yarn of this for this, but it is a fade yarn, so it faded into another color. A lot more about that. As I said, super easy color work socks. If you want to start doing color work, maybe in socks for the first time, I definitely recommend these. It is a free pattern, which is even better. And what you can see here is that there are only a few stitches in between each color change. This is where the join was, so that isn't the neatest to show. But yeah, it's just really nice. It went really fast. I think I knitted the first one in 1.5 days. The second one a little longer, of course. But you can definitely make these in like a week, 2 weeks, if you want to take it a little slower. I made these in Lana Grossa Maed Merino hand dyed jam. You're gonna hear that one a few times in this video. It's a mouthful. And this is the color Dill. And this is, so I said it is a fade yarn. The color Dill, and I held it with drops Nord, so I alternated it with drops Nord, I mean, in the color Off-White. I had that laying around, I thought it would be nice. The picture of the designer also has like a color changing yarn, or a variegated yarn if you want to call it, with like a white held together, which I prefer the most. Would I make this again? Absolutely. I would definitely make this again. Maybe I make them even this year again. They are really fun. Yarn wise, the Lana Grossa Maed holds up pretty well. The Drops Nord a little less. But the socks that I was just wearing is also made in Drops Nord. And it is fine. It's just not really necessarily a sock yarn. But it does work for it. You can see that the hand dyed is fading a bit on mostly, yeah, the foot of course. Mostly the toe here. So, but that is, yeah, that is quite normal with hand dyed when there's so much friction on them. These are quite short in the leg. What else can I say about them? They look quite wide, but when you wear them, I don't know, they're fine. I love them. I think they're really fun. They feel a little bit like slippers, and I definitely just love wearing how do I say it? No, I love wearing collarwork socks because they are quite thick. I don't really wear my socks in shoes, just every now and then, but definitely not often. And if I do, they are in my Doc Martens, so they do get a lot of friction there. First pair, I'm already talking a lot about them. Really, really recommend, absolutely recommend. I've recommended these to many people. I see a lot of people making these as their first collarwork socks. Definitely recommend. How many times can I say that? My second knit of 2023, which as I said, I'm going into chronological order. So I finished this one in February, if I'm correct. I'm gonna take it out of the pile here. Let me just put this aside like this because that is easier for the next knits. Is my September sweater by PetiteKnit. For all the garments, I'm gonna pop up a video of myself of wearing it because I really want to show you what it looks like on a body. For the socks, I'm not gonna really put them on. It's easy to see what they look like, but I will definitely put up a video here of what it looks like. So this is my first ever finished sweater, actually. As I said, started knitting in 2022. I don't know when I started it because I didn't put it in my Ravelry page, but probably around November, I think. I'm pretty sure. I think it is November. And this is a brioche sweater. And if you follow me from the beginning, because I did I start filming back then? Yeah, I think I already started podcasting. You know that I am quite the adventurous knitter, or I was maybe the adventurous knitter in the beginning of my knitting journey. And I just like to do different things. And a brioche sweater was my first ever finished sweater. I actually finished my first ever sweater. In a little bit. You probably know which one it is if you're here. It's not here, by the way. It was a gift knit, but I will pop up a photo and maybe a video if I have one. Back to the sweater. As I said, the September sweater, I will just put it up first like this. This is a brioche pattern by PetiteKnit. And if you think it looks a little different, that is correct because I modified it. I used a modification, which I think it was from Leah Ligge, yeah, I'm pretty sure. However, I made a little mistake and I modified the modification, but not on purpose. So it was a whole thing. Also, if the light is changing a little bit, I have the kitchen light on here. It's very dark outside, or the light is changing a lot. It's winter in the Netherlands, so it's always very dark. But yeah, this is the sweater. It is made in Drops Air in the color sea green or sea grass. No, sea green. And this yarn doesn't hold up that nicely. I will tell a little bit about that later, but it is the softest sweater that I have. It is really, really soft. This pattern also was really fun to do. It is a drop shoulder. I did have a bit of an issue with my sizing. It was my second sweater technically. I think I started it on extra small and I think the sleeves came out to a large or something. I don't know how that happened. I really wasn't that knowledgeable yet in patterns and sizing and yarn also. So as I said, this yarn pills quite a bit. It doesn't hold up that nicely. Let me see if I can show this to you. It is not too bad, but it is also not really nice. I wore this to the handwerkbeurs last year. It's already 2024. I really have to get used to it. This is, by the way, January 1st when I'm filming this. I wore it to the handwerkbeurs, which is a craft fair in the Netherlands, and it was quite warm in there. And the armpits felt it. If this is TMI, I'm sorry. But this yarn completely felt it on the armpits. I don't know if you can see it. It is like quite hard now. So yeah, it's not the most sturdy material, but as I said, it is so soft. This is my softest sweater that I have. I used this yarn again, which you will see in a little bit, but after I made this, when I realized it wasn't holding up that well, I did change my pattern. I was using it for September sweaters. Is something else I want to tell about. Oh, would I make it again? I don't think so, but it is mostly because I want to make something else with brioche. So I'm definitely looking into brioche patterns. There is this cardigan, I don't know on top of my head what it's called, but this cardigan is on my mind for quite some time already. I would definitely knit brioche again. I think it's really fun. It is really meditative almost. It's really relaxing. It is not difficult. I don't know about 2-color brioche, or I've tried it a little bit, but I definitely recommend brioche, even if you're a beginner. I think there's a lot of scariness made up around brioche, and it's definitely not hard. It is really easy. If a totally beginner can knit a full brioche sweater, you can do it too. Only thing is put in some lifelines, because it's difficult to figure out how to fix mistakes, but even that I figured out quite a bit actually. I've had to fix quite a bit of mistakes in here. Definitely recommend to make it, or any brioche thing actually. I modified this a bit so it's not completely like the original pattern. It's a nice, comfy, oversized, fluffy sweater. That's what it is. Then we go into some socks. So my boyfriend, his birthday was in March, and I secretly made him some socks. So we're now already in the month of March. Let me look them up here. They look rough, very rough at the moment, but he wears them to death. So these are the, let me see, Petit Harbour socks by Rayna Curtis. If you follow my podcast, I've talked about this a lot. I'm like even doubting if I want to show it to you because it looks a little gross. He's wearing them. He didn't wear them in his shoes, but he started wearing them in his shoes. And he has these Chelsea boots with like a orange sole. And the orange sole is starting to give off some color on the socks. So it is not dirt, it is just color of the leather, but they do need a really good wash. This one is not too bad. Yeah, as I said, it looks really gross, but he loves them, and I think that's the most important part. Let me just show this up close because this does look good. This is the leg. These are broken rib socks. It is again a free pattern, and he loves them. He really loves them. So I made this for his birthday as a surprise, and this is also made, as you can see here, it's a fade yarn. This is also made in the Lana Grossa Meideweit Merino hand-dyed jam in the color Roja. This is a fade from gray to green. I don't want to show this up close, it's so nasty, but I will show it a little bit like this. You can see the green in here. They look really rough. But again, that's just a sign that he loves them a lot. And I think that's the most important part. He definitely proven himself to be knit worthy. And I already made a second pair. And you see them later on in this video. Oh, are we gonna focus again? Let me see. Yeah. So, would I make this again? I already made them again. So I think the answer is yes. They are really fun. They're really meditative. Again, they're just super mindless. It's a 4-repeat pattern. It's really easy to memorize. I put in a German short row heel, which I think the pattern states for a, what is it called? A slip stitch heel, is that what it's called? Heel flap and gusset. You can change it if you want. They're fun, they're easy, they're quite quick. I think I knitted one again in 1.5 weeks and the other in 2 weeks. So, oh, sorry, no. I think I knitted one again in 1.5 day and the other again in 2 weeks. So, but that's just a me problem. Recommend, really fun, free pattern, easy, definitely good to gift also. Let's go on to my second sweater, and again the light is getting back, so it's changing through the video. The second sweater that I made was again a PetiteKnit pattern, and to be honest, I always like to advocate for also other patterns. I've done quite some pattern recap videos or pattern roundup videos, and I try not to show PetiteKnit too much, but when I look back at what I've been knitting, there are quite some PetiteKnit patterns in here, but I think PetiteKnit has some really good basics, so that is really nice. And I do really enjoy that they are starting to show grow their range of sizing, which is really important. I think they still have some work to do, but I'm happy to see that they are growing their range of sizes. But yeah, there's more PetiteKnit in here than I thought there would be. This is my second sweater that I finished, and this is the Monday sweater by PetiteKnit. It is, yeah, let me just hang it up a little bit better. I don't know if you were able to see it that well. This is my first hand-dyed yarn sweater. Not hand-dyed by me because I wasn't dyeing back then. Dyeing yarn, I mean, that sounds so weird. And this is a really good staple, I think. I made this in Admetska, which is a Lithuanian yarn dyer. Really kind person also. I bought this at the Handwerkbeurs at the craft fair. And I held it together with drop skid silk in the color chalk. And this is one of their colors that for me doesn't really itch that much. So I'm really, really happy about that. I used it before, I used it again actually after that. I just really like it. It's a good staple. I thought I knitted the sleeves a little bit too long, but what I found, they were quite long after the blocking, but they shrinked up a little bit again. It's just a good staple. However, would I knit this again? Maybe. But I think there are so many other patterns that I would knit. Do I recommend it? Absolutely. What I would change if I would do this again is pick another color. I think this is really beautiful. This is really wearable, but it's a little boring to me. I think I don't really gravitate towards it too much anymore. I think it washes me out a little bit. So for example, a darker color kind of suits me better. This summer I did a color analysis and I found out that I'm a soft autumn. So some deeper, warmer, darker color. This is not necessarily warm, but somehow I think this makes me quite pale. So I don't gravitate towards it that much. It is nice. It isn't that itchy for me, to be honest. By the way, the hand dyed is 100% merino. And as I said, kid silk is mohair. It's nice. I really, by the way, like the raglan shaping. It's a top-down raglan sweater, by the way. Did I tell enough about the others? Yeah, that was a drop shoulder. And this is only the second sweater. It's fine. The socks all were top-down too, by the way. Yeah. Rambling. Again, if you're not new here, you know I'm a little chaotic in these videos. If you like that, definitely subscribe to me here and like this video because I really appreciate it and I'd love to have you here. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Oh yeah, this base is called Akia. It didn't really have a color name, I think. So I don't really know. I am also not sure if she still sells this color. She sells on fairs, a lot of fairs in Europe, but she also has her own website that you can definitely find out. I'll link it in my Ravelry page. It is linked in my Ravelry page. The color and the brand and everything. Anything else? As I said, it's a really good staple. I have worn it a lot already. It's just not my favorite color. It feels a little boring to me. But it's beautiful though. So maybe I can find some ways to dress it up a little bit. Yeah, it's a good knit. It's a good staple. I still love it, just in a different color. I'll just put it back there. We're now getting into some summery knits. Maybe fun to know, I knitted this sweater in I think about a month and a half. I think I put it in here. Yeah, about a month and a half. I knitted a lot on this, even some monogamous knitting on there. So I think I have a video where I talked about monogamously knitting on this sweater. Definitely check it out. That was my podcast, one of my podcast videos. Let's get into some summer knitting because I've done a little bit of summer knitting. This is my second summer knitting, by the way, but I only knitted one top in the first summer. And I knitted a few tops this summer. And of course, as almost everyone, I made a Tolsta tee. 2 Tolsta tees also. This has been wrinkled up in my closet for quite some time. So it looks a little wrinkly, as I said. Let me talk about it. I think I knitted those back to back. So next one will also be a Tolsta tee. This is, by the way, a pattern by Bea or Rebecca Clow, which is a designer from Edinburgh, which I've also been to this year. Kind of full circle moment. I really enjoyed knitting this. This was really fun. This is the standard Tolsta tee, like DK weight one, and I chose to do a striped version. If you have this pattern, you know that there are a lot of different versions in the pattern, as in a lot of different versions from other knitters, test knitters. What I really enjoyed to see is there were so many different things that people did. So like smaller stripes, bigger stripes. I think texture, they really went rogue in the testing, and I think that's really fun. I really enjoyed to see all the creative ideas that came from it. The reason why I started this is because one of the testers, and I'm pretty sure it was PetiteKnit, made this in Drops Muscat. This is also made in Drops Muscat. I bought this yarn the summer before, so 2022, with the idea of, oh, I can make a top without a pattern. Definitely not. I think somehow we all had that idea when we first started knitting, that patterns were too difficult, so we just are gonna design it on our own. Didn't happen. So I had this laying around, and I get a little anxious when I have yarn laying around for like a very long time. I'm like, I need to use it, you know? So I used it on this top. This is a t-shirt. You can make the sleeves a little longer, a little shorter. I kept them quite short, and it is a very boxy fit. And that is where I don't really like the fit. I am not that much of a boxy kind of top person. I don't enjoy it that much on my body. I think it is not the most flattering thing to wear for me. So I really enjoyed knitting it. I don't really enjoy wearing it. And it has to do with the boxiness and also the yarn. So this is a 100% mercerized cotton, if I'm correct. It's quite heavy. It does have a little bit of a flow to it. But it's just, I don't know, I don't really love the look of this yarn. It is easy to wash though, that is really nice. But I have made, for example, a pot holder with this yarn, and I really enjoyed for that. So I think this is a cotton that I don't prefer for garments. My boyfriend sneezed, I don't know if you heard that. Something else, oh yeah. Something else in this pattern, I've heard other people talk about this, is that the neckline stretches a ton while wearing it. So I eventually put in an elastic, but this neckline was around here, and it stretched out to around here, I think, with wearing, which I was a little bummed about. So if you're going to make this, put in an elastic, or maybe make the neckline a little sturdier, because it will stretch. Definitely with cotton stretches, of course. However, I didn't really put this in nicely. It's a little too tight. You probably see it on the video here. Anything else? Oh yeah, I knitted this during our summer top make-along in the Clubhouse. So as I said, I have a community group, an online community group, and we do monthly make-alongs, and sometimes they are 2 monthly or 2 months long, and this was one of those. I did knit this quite quickly. I think it was in 3 weeks. Yeah. Color-wise, by the way, let me quickly talk about that, and then we're going on to the next one. As I said, this is Drops Muscat in the colors Petrol, Off-White, if I'm correct. Let me see. No, Petrol, White, and Sage Green. Wait, I have another color. Light blue or something? I don't know. I didn't put that one down. Also not on my Ravelry page. Yeah, again, fun pattern. I don't prefer the boxy fit, so I wouldn't make it again in this way. I might make the other one again. And I don't prefer this yarn for garments. That's just how it is. I think how the other tester did it, PetiteKnit, I think she made like an eyelid detail, and it looks really nice for that one. I just don't prefer it for this one. So my other Tolsta tee, which I made back to back, is actually a fingering weight version. And because I already made the first one, I knew I didn't want it to be super boxy, so I made it quite form-fitting and even with negative ease. And this is also with a very different kind of yarn, and it's really beautiful, and I really enjoy it. I haven't worn it in months, to be honest, because it was really a summer top for me, and I really need to wash it. I haven't washed it since the summer, as in I watched it quite a few times, but it was like in a pile to wash, and it has been laying there for a few months. So good reminder to start wearing this again. This is my second Tolsta tee, and I have a hair in it. As you can see, it looks very different from the first one. This is again with hand-dyed yarn, and it is again from Upmetska. The yarn that I bought for the Monday sweater and for this one, I both bought at the Handwerkbeurs. This is a different blend. This is the base Columba, and it is made of merino and silk. Superwash merino and silk. Again, no color name. And yeah, it's really nice. As you can see here, there's a nice drape to it. Hope it's focusing on the top, by the way, not my face. I've worn this a lot. It is form-fitting, as you can see. which I really prefer. I like a little bit of oversizedness, but I think for summer tops, and I think I've heard other people say that too, for summer tops I just like it to be a little bit more form-fitting. I think I prefer it for my body type. That's just what it is. I'm talking again really fast because I don't want this to be like 2 hours long. Sorry if I talk too fast. This top, one thing that I noticed, and it might have to do with like the negative ease, but under the armholes, the stitches started to separate quite a bit. I don't know if you're able to see it. It's also a little bit discolored because of my deodorant that I used that summer. But it started to separate a little bit, that's the only thing. And again, the neckline stretched out so much. So I didn't reinforce this one, but I probably should. It doesn't look bad on this one, but it just stretches a ton. So I don't know really how that happened with the pattern. I think, I still have hairs in here. I think Rebecca herself maybe mentioned something about picking up less stitches for the neckline. Yeah, would I make this again? Maybe. Not 100% sure. I think there are some other good tops too. However, this is a good staple t-shirt. So for that, I really do recommend it. I just realized there is something outdoorsy in my top. Sorry if you had seen that. Yeah, one thing about the yarn, I alternated skeins, but it still pulled a little bit. And now being a yarn dyer myself, I know sometimes it's just unavoidable. But I was a little bummed about it, that I alternated skeins and still got a little bit of pooling in the middle. It's not too obvious when I wear it, so that is really nice. Anything else? No, that was it. So my second Tolsta tee and the last one for this year, and maybe the last one forever, I don't know. Maybe I'll make another one with some special yarn or something. We are now in the middle of summer. I think around July, probably, yeah. And we are starting my hand-dyed yarn journey. So I started dyeing yarn in July. End of June, we had a guest speaker call with Fuzzy Peach Fibers, Inga from Fuzzy Peach Fibers, in the Mindful Creators Clubhouse. We have a monthly guest speaker. And she really inspired me to start dyeing yarn too. I was really looking for something that took me out of the, or behind the laptop, or off the laptop. I don't know. I think you know what I mean. The Mindful Creators is my business. I work on it a lot, and a lot of it is laptop work, and I don't really get the happiest from only doing laptop work. So I started dyeing yarn, and it makes me really happy. In late July, I finished my first collection, and first week of August I launched my first collection. And one of the first things I dyed up was a color called Softgrass, and these are my socks. I immediately started knitting some socks. This is, however, not completely the color. There is a little bit of a teal kind of speckle in here, as you can see here, that I didn't do in the eventual color. But I made some vanilla socks, and these are actually my first pair of vanilla socks. I really love how the yarn knits up. It's just really beautiful. And here you can see too, as in with the easy peasy socks, that on the foot where it gets a lot of friction, there's a little bit of fading. But that happens a lot. I don't mind it too much. There are socks here on my feet. No one will see that. Yeah, and this sock yarn, by the way, this is my base called Soulful Sock. It is really, really nice and soft. It's hard to see, of course, but it's just really nice and soft. You can even make sweaters in this. A friend of mine, Claudia from Knitted Journey, she made a sweater in this base, held together with some surrey. Yeah, I didn't use a pattern. I used, yeah, just some information online, I guess, about making socks. It's 64 stitches, a 2x2 twisted rivets. I think it's twisted rib. Not 100% sure. It just stretched out a lot. A fish lips kiss heel, or it is a twisted, a short row heel. I think it's short row. I like to use the instructions of Nimble needles, and just a standard toe. These are cuff down socks, really easy, really fun, quick to knit. They're a little bit big on me because I knit quite loosely when I'm knitting socks, so I probably should go down a needle size to 2.25 and maybe 60 stitches. I think that probably will work better. I like them to be a little bit more tight. Would I knit vanilla socks again? Absolutely, of course. I am not making any vanilla socks right now, but I'm planning on making some for my boyfriend as his next pair of socks, to be able to wear, easier to wear in his shoes and stuff. So this is my second pair of socks for myself this year, third pair in total. I have another pair coming up in a little bit. We are still in the summertime, and I made two more summer tops actually. Oh, I missed one in my list. I'm gonna put it in. I knitted this mostly on our summer vacation. We went to Italy this year. We went camping, which I grew up with, and I really enjoy. And I knitted on this top and this yarn I bought in Spain when we were there earlier this summer with family, a little family vacation. And yeah, I used this yarn bought in Spain for my third summer top, I think. Yeah, pretty sure. I do have one more here that I probably finished first, but I'm gonna show it after this. So this is the Anker summer shirt by PetiteKnit. It has a really fun neck detailing. It's really nice. It has this ribbing, alternated ribbing, which turns out to yeah, how do you say it? It has like a, I don't know what call the word in English, but like this fan, kind of a fanning out effect. I don't know. I like it and I hate it for a few reasons. I don't like the yarn I chose, but I also do like it. I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about why that is. This is Casa Sol Bamboo Large, or L, and it is a bamboo yarn. And if you know anything about bamboo yarn, you know it's going to stretch a lot. And my swatch almost didn't stretch, so I thought I would be safe, but it stretched out a ton. It is quite larger than I wanted it to be, as you can see. It's really soft though. It's really nice and drapey, as you can see here. That's really beautiful. It was a little splitty to work with, but nothing too annoying. It's a nice color. It's called Agua Marina, I think. But yeah, I wouldn't use this again for a top like this. It's just stretched a lot, and I have heard from someone that you could put it in the dryer and it will shrink up a little bit, which I probably will try. I don't know if you've already seen the before photo, before the wearing and blocking. It fitted really nice. It fitted up quite high the neck, which I really enjoyed, but it's just, I think it's sitting around here. Yeah, you can see it in the video probably. So it's a little bit of a bummer. It's a nice top though. I do recommend the pattern. It was quite fun to knit. It did take me quite a while actually. It was a DK weight one, but I think it still took me 3 weeks, and I did a lot on it because I was on vacation. So in my books that was quite a lot of knitting. I don't know why that was actually. The gauge is really nice though. I think it was quite good on gauge. However, probably now it changed because of the blocking and wearing. I don't have anything else. Yeah, it just stretched a lot. But I am going to fix it this month because our make along for this month in the Clubhouse is our Fitted Mended Redo Mall. It was recommended through by one of our members, and I'm going to try to shrink it up a little bit in the dryer so that it will fit me a little better, because I don't really wear it now. I have worn it a bit in the summer, but yeah, because it stretched so much, it didn't really give me the fit that I enjoy. As I said, I like summer tops to be a little bit more form-fitting, and this one definitely is not that right now. Last summer top that I think I finished before. I have to see if I know all the information of it right now. I don't think so, but this is a really popular, difficult talking, pattern by, oh, what is it called again? This is a Summer Secret Summer Secret crop, and I just cannot come up with the name of the designer, but it's a really popular designer, big designer, and this is my top that I made. And yeah, I made it with the straps right through the back, or how do you say it? I'm trying to see myself in the screen here, or not myself, I started seeing the top in the screen. And this was just a fun knit. Do I wear it a lot? No, I don't really wear crop tops anymore. I have worn it in the summer a bit because I have some shorts that are really high-waisted, and with that one you don't really see a lot of stomach, which I prefer. I've worn a lot of crop tops back in like my late, or like, how do you say that? Early 20s, or like when I was 18 to like 21, 22 or something. Don't really wear that one a lot anymore. The yarn is Mondim. So yeah, Retosarius Mondim. It's actually a sock yarn, but I was like, ooh, 100 grams. I can probably make a top out of it. So I did, and I don't recommend this as a summer top yarn. However, I can wear it in the summer, even when it's quite hot. It's a little itchy, it's quite rustic, it's a non-superwash. But when you put it on, it feels quite itchy, but you will get used to it, in my case, to be honest. Fit wise, I do really love this neckline. It's hard to see on here, of course, but I love like the scoop that it has. I think it's quite flattering. Would I make this again? Maybe, but I would definitely lengthen it a lot. So it's just like a normal top. I do find this a bit difficult to wear bra wise. I think, yeah, I don't like my bra straps showing. I even made a full video of bra friendly summer tops, which I really recommend because there are a lot of good patterns in there that are tops. Most of them don't really have sleeves, but they're bra friendly. For most, there's always one pattern in that is what will work for you. Yeah, that was just a fun knit. I don't wear it a lot. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. It's a free pattern, by the way, which I'm really impressed by. And if I make it again, I will definitely make it in another kind of yarn, maybe like a Sandnes Garden Sunday. That would be nice, actually, a Sunday. And then just lengthen it a lot. I think by now we are around October and I started making my first hat. So for my hand-dyed yarn, I was like, okay, I want to make something that will show off a color, and I chose a very specific color, which is this hot pink mixture. Like a lot of pinks are in here. This color is called Pink Dream, and the mohair is actually the color, the Pink Dream color. Rambling. Again, the base or the yarn that I used is Mystical Mohair, which is my mohair kid silk base in the color Pink Dream. And I held it together with Drops Flora in the color White Fog. So I molded it together. This yarn does pull a bit, but that is intended with the way it is knitted or like dyed up, I mean. And it's just really fun. So yeah, this is my first hat, and this is actually the Oslo hat by PetiteKnit. It's a really popular pattern, and I really see why, because I really like it. It's fun to knit, it's quick to knit, it is, again, it's just really a mindless knit, which is also nice from time to time. I will put it on in the video here, so I don't have to mess with my hair right now. If you don't know about this pattern, you knit quite a long hat. This is double folded, and then you fold it double again. So you have like a triple fold or triple layer on your ears. It's really nice. And something that I really like about my yarn choice is the mohair that I carry in my shop is really nice itch wise. It is, as in, it doesn't really itch. So for example, a kid silk hat I probably would not be able to wear. This one I can easily wear, like very easily, and I didn't think I would ever be able to do that. So I'm just happy with the yarn that I choose to carry in the shop, and this was just a good way to show what it feels and looks like. And I really like it. I've worn it quite a few times, not a lot, because yeah, here in the Netherlands it doesn't really get that cold to wear a hat, but it's really fun. Do I recommend the pattern? Absolutely. Would I knit it again? I already have done it twice. In this video you'll see them too, so I definitely would recommend to knit this maybe a few times even. It's a good gift knit too. Only thing I don't love about the pattern is the way the increases look, or the decreases look, sorry. Not the biggest fan of it. I think one of those decreases, as you can see here, is quite obvious. Not my preferred look, but it was really nice to knit for as a sample, which I also wear. And yeah, I really recommend it, and it's just a nice hat pattern. However, there are many different hat patterns out there, but if you want to have like a good staple hat, this is one of those patterns that I really recommend. Okay, we are finally at the sweater that I'm wearing right now. This is the Lento sweater by Jonna hietala, sorry. And this is my favorite knit of the year by far. And why that is because it is super wearable. I like the fit of it. I adjusted quite a lot in the pattern, to be honest. I know a lot of people do that with this pattern, and I'm really happy I did so. I'm gonna put up the video. I think that's easier to see for you what it looks like without me having to stand up and change the whole setting. Yarn wise, this is Soca na Troca, which is a Spanish yarn dyer. Again, I bought it in Spain when I was there. I went quite loose there with yarn buying. This is the color called Pisara, and this is the base kitten. This is just 100% superwash merino. It's really nice, and I held it together with Lana Grossa Seta Suri in the color called Anthracite. Just a dark gray. The yarn itself is actually a little bit more blue based. The Suri looked blue when I bought it in the store, at my local craft store or yarn store. However, it was way more gray, so the lighting there was just, it just really changed the color a lot. I was a little bummed about it in the beginning, but I think it looks really nice. I think I really like the gray look of this. It's super wearable. It doesn't really pull. It has a little bit here and there. I did do alternating skeins, as in alternated knitting. There's a word for it, I always forget it. Yeah, I really like this one. Is there something? No, I didn't have to put anything in the neckline. I did change that though. I think they're supposed to do a, how do you call it again? A cast on that you can again pick up again. I don't know the name of it. But what I did is just cast it on with a long tail cast on. Because a few of my friends have made it and some of them said this can stretch a bit, so I just did a long tail cast on it, and it definitely gives a lot more sturdiness to the neck, which I really prefer. Folding it double was a little difficult, as in knitting it together, but it was worth it though. It is a twisted, is it a twisted rib? I'm not really sure if it is. I don't think so actually. I don't think it's a twisted rib for this one. Same for the cuff. I changed the sleeves. If you have seen the pattern, the sleeves are quite short. I think it might be like up to here. I don't wear that, so I was already planning on lengthening the sleeves, and the sleeves are the perfect like bracelet length for me. This is just a really wearable sweater. It's definitely a fall sweater because of the opener gauge. It is for now, as in when I'm doing this video and I'm moving quite a bit, I always get very warm during filming videos. It's perfect, but it's a little too chilly for me during the winter, but that's fine. It's a good fall spring sweater. So yeah, sleeves, refocus. Yeah, sleeves wise, as I said, I lengthened them quite a bit, and I also did something with the decreases. I think I did less decreases, and for the cuff, there we go, or more decreases even, because it was quite wide since you actually knit it to here. For the cuff, I did some rapid decreasing. I think I put this in my notes and Ravelry, so you can see there. I didn't put everything in, sorry about that, but I forgot. But I'm pretty sure I put it in about what I did with the sleeves, because I am just a, how do you say that? Is it a bell sleeve? Bell sleeve girl? I love those, like the bigger sleeve that go cinch more. This is of course not that, but as you can see, it cinches in a little bit more. I just like a tight fitting cuff. I think that's really flattering. I just love the look of it. It shows off the bracelet nicely, as you can see here. It's just nice. I really enjoy this sweater, and I get the hype. I really get it. I did knit it on a little bit of a smaller needle, which made the gauge also a little bit different, a little bit more form-fitting. Again, I like that. You can see it in the video how it fits. I did do the bind off a little bit too tight. I might change that during our make along this month. That's something I would change. Would I knit it again? Probably. I think this would be perfect if I want to knit something in my own yarn as a sample. I also really enjoy wearing it, so I probably would knit it again. Will I really knit it again? I'm not sure, because there are so many patterns that I want to try out still. I'm definitely still in that stage of there's so much and I want to knit everything. Probably within a year or two or something that will fade down a little bit when I have enough sweaters in my closet. But yeah, I really love it. It's definitely, I really recommend it. I did adjust quite a bit, as I said. I also did more, or I did increases in the body to make it a little bit more slim. But it's a really easy pattern to do some alterations on. So if you're scared to do alterations, this is definitely one to do it with. And I like it. And it's fun. All my friends have it too, as in my offline knitting friends. If you're new here, I have a really fun group of friends, my knitting besties. And we all have made a Lento now. We went to Copenhagen this year together as our first like knitting trip. Bought quite a bit of yarn, something that I already used to. and we all wore our Lento sweaters one day. So that was really special too. It's special in many different ways. And I really recommend it, again, really recommend it. Then I made my second Oslo hat. And this is again in my own handed yarn and a sari this time, my base soothing sari. I made this hat because I really wanted to try out this yarn in a little bit of a larger garment. I was making a sock, which I only have to finish or change something, then that one is finished too. And I really wanted to make it into a hat, also because I knew it was something that I would love to wear. So this is made in my yarn. This is made actually in the Soulful sock base in the color stracciatella. And I really like it. If you know, yeah, the ice cream stracciatella, it has like chocolate, I want to say sprinkles, but that's not the right word. But it has chocolate chunks in it, and I think this quite nicely shows that off. I'm really happy with how the speckles, how do you say that? Look over the whole garment. And I didn't do any alternating, it doesn't pull, it looks really nice. I used this as, again, I held it together with Soothing Sari, which is my sari base. It's so soft, it's really nice. And again, I did it with the sock base, so I would get the gauge. I think I didn't gauge watch, I'm pretty sure I didn't, and it worked out completely fine. You might see that these hats are quite a bit looser, but I prefer that because if I have a really tight hat on, it just hurts my head. I don't like that. So these are quite loose. Again, I've worn this already quite a bit. When I was able to, I worn it. I really like it. It's just a good hat, good staple, and also really quick to knit. For me, it's like, this one was for two reasons. I want to have a sample again, and also because I knew I was gonna really like it. And that is my second Oslo hat. Then I made another Oslo hat, but I don't have it here with me because my boyfriend lost it. I'm really sad about that. I think it's the first time I'm saying this now. I made him a Oslo hat in this gray color. From the moment that I made my pink Oslo hat, he was like, ooh, I really like this actually. I would love one. And knowing how he loves his socks, I was like, he's super knit worthy. We're gonna make something. And I'm making a sweater for him, actually, the zipper sweater Man Light, which I'm still working on in a really nice gray color. I'll put up a picture. And he was like, oh, I would love a hat that matches that sweater. So when I was in Copenhagen, I bought some yarn, Sandnesgarn Alpaca Wool, in almost like the exact same color as the sweater. It's just a different base because I'm using Peer Gynt for the sweater. It's a little bit more scratchy, and he would like something a little bit more soft on his head. So I got that one, made the hat quite quickly. He loved it, and on our way home from Edinburgh, so we were there for a few days, he lost it at the airport. So I'm really, really sad about that. I told him you're not gonna get a hat anytime soon again. He was really bummed about it too. He is someone that never really loses his stuff, so it was quite a bummer. But yeah, that's the story about the lost Oslo hat. Quite sad, but things happen. It's okay. Little heads up, we have four more garments to show you. First one is a cardigan, and this one has been on my needles for a long time. We are now already in, I think, November. I finished quite a few things in the last 2 months. This might even be December already, I'm not 100% sure. I made a cardigan, which is quite a big accomplishment for me since I don't love purling, but I'm definitely warming up to it. This is the Home Cardigan by Kadri. It's a really nice fluffy cardigan. I made it quite cropped. Would love to have it a little bit longer, to be honest, but it's okay. The length could be a little bit longer. Sleeves are actually a little bit too long, and I'm gonna change the sleeves soon probably, but I will tell you about that later. Let me first tell about the yarn. The yarn is Drops Air in Pearl Grey, helped with kid silk in chalk. So that is the kid silk I used in my Monday sweater. I had a little bit left over and I was seeing what I could do with this yarn. Held it together, and I love the way these marl together. This Pearl Grey is already very white, kind of grey. And it looks really natural. It doesn't really look like marling because this Pearl Grey already is a little bit marled. It just works really nicely together. The Drops Air, I wanted to make another sweater with it when I finished my September sweater, but I didn't really know how it was wearing. I started the Salty Air, No. Oh, what's it called again? It's this really beautiful cabled sweater by Kotova Kika. I started that one, figured out that the yarn really doesn't hold up that well, ripped it out and just left it. And I think around April I started this sweater, cardigan, and I was like, okay, this is a good yarn option for this cardigan. If it will pull a little bit, it's okay. And since it's held with mohair, it probably is a little bit more sturdy. The original yarn that she held together or used for this cardigan, I think is Camarose. That one blow yarn from Camarose. And this kind of is the good dupe for it. It's really soft again. It's so nice. It's quite warm. It's very warm actually. Sometimes a little bit too warm. I was gonna wear it during this video, but I overheated already immediately. So keep that in mind. It's really soft though. It's really nice, a comfy, a little bit oversized sweater. However, as I said, I'm not a big fan of the sleeves, and that is probably also a little bit my fault. As I said before, I'm just really I said bell sleeves, but that's not what I meant. I like the sleeves that go from bigger to like cinched in on your wrist. I cannot come up with the name of it right now. These are definitely not that. Since I started knitting this so long ago, I didn't really remember a lot of things. I didn't take a lot of good notes back then, like the first half of the year. So as you can see, the first sleeve I knitted, which is the back one, is a little bit bigger than the front one. It's just a little bit too wide for me. They're a little bit too long. So what I might do is snip off like the cuff, do quite some rapid decreasing, and then make it a smaller, probably this long, tighter cuff. I think I'm gonna be doing that because I will know I get a lot more wear out of it. I like the look a little bit better. It's a little bit more practical for me. And I think I will just wear this a ton more, as I said. Buttons. Let me just see if I can show this a little bit easier without having to hold it all onto your face. I hope I've already showed you the video of what it looks like on. I bought these shiny buttons. They are like hard buttons, not plastic ones, which I really like for this one. I don't really remember what they are. I bought this as my local button store, so you cannot really find these anywhere else, which also makes it more special. And yeah, it's just a nice cardigan, and I'm definitely going to be making another cardigan in 2024. I have another finished object that I don't have with me because this was a gift knit, and yes, it is the Cumulus blouse by PetiteKnit, and it's finally finished. So if you have been following me for longer and haven't seen my latest podcast, yes, it's finally done. My mom finally got it and she is super happy with it. So this is actually that first sweater that I ever started. I just started knitting. I was like, I'm gonna make you a sweater. I'm gonna be able to do it. And I definitely didn't finish it in time. I finished it this December, or last December, instead of 2022 December. Yeah. So I'm gonna be a little bit short about this. The yarn I used is Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk in the color Rust. We picked out the pattern and the yarn together. She really wanted to have a v-neck. I showed a lot of v-neck patterns. She chose this one. Yarn, it's made actually in mohair, but I knew she was not going to be able to handle it edgewise. So we chose the Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk and she's loving it. She really likes it. It's super soft though. It's like a little bit of like a sheepy, pillowy kind of vibe. It's really nice. I hope I can steal it from her once or twice. And I'm really happy that's finished. I hated working on this. I absolutely hated it because of the yarn choice. I held together 2 strands of the Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk, and I don't recommend that. It sticks to each other. It's quite rough on my hands. Really didn't like it. Something about me is that I have a lot of wrist issues. So a lot of times during this year or last year, I had like 2-3 weeks that I couldn't knit. And also for this sweater, it just really, yeah, as I said, it really hurted my wrist. So I didn't really pick it up because I knew it was gonna hurt. And yeah, that's just not fun. Don't recommend it if you are sensitive to like wrist issues. Don't put 2 strands of brushed alpaca silk together. I know there's a trick to put them in the freezer to get them a little bit more smooth. I don't have a freezer, so that's a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I'm really happy that it's finished. She loves it. It looks beautiful on her. I hope I have the video of her wearing it already. I asked her to make a little video. Otherwise, I have a picture of her wearing it. and it's just really fun. I'm happy to be able to give her this, and I think she is going to wear this for the many years to come. We're on to the last two garments, and the first one is a sock. So that's more accessories, I think they call it, but you wear it, so it is a garment. These are again the Petit Harbour socks. I'm gonna be short about this. As I said, these I've made those before. This is the same yarn, so Lana Kurosa by the way merino, hand-dyed yarn, hand-dyed jam. I don't know the color of this one, but as you can see, it's a dark gray to a lighter gray. But with these, also for the first pair, I held the skeins are 50 grams, so I bought two 50-gram skeins to get the fade the same. But you can clearly see that the one is darker up top. It's the same dye bath, but again, now I'm a dyer and I know that this did happen, so it's fine. He loves them. Made a little mistake. So the foot should be just straight stockinette, and I accidentally just put the pattern all the way around. So I did that too for the other one. He hasn't worn these a lot, just a few times, so they are pretty brand new. I finished these in December. I gave them for Christmas actually as a surprise. He didn't know I was gonna finish this. So these are all like late December finishes. So the Cumulus blouse, these socks, and my last finished object. And he's loving these already. Yeah, he's just great for gifting socks. He just loves them. He wears them a lot at home and now also in his shoes. So there probably will definitely be more socks for him in the year coming year. Last finished object is actually my Sophie shawl, and it's like, I don't know if you know this, you have those like Sophie scarves. It's a pattern by PetiteKnit, by the way, and what a lot of people like to do is like roll them up in like a croissant, and it's not really able to do that with like this big of a scarf, but I had to do it. So yarn, this is Camarose in Lama Ult. So it is actually a big mix of llama and wool, in the color Vissengrun, so the green one, and the color Elfenben. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I was in Copenhagen, as I said. There was a really beautiful yarn store and had a sale of these yarns. These skeins are 50 grams. I think they were only 3-4 euros in the sale, which was really nice. And I just really want to make something like a scarf. I was already set on making a scarf, and I wanted to make it in this color, but they didn't have enough. They had 4 skeins. Looking back, I probably could have made a Sophie shawl, but like a smaller version. But I didn't know yet what pattern I was gonna make. I was looking at some colorwork patterns, and I eventually set on this one. And I really enjoyed it. I thought at first, this is such a simple pattern. It's probably gonna be so boring, but it is mindless. However, it is still engaging enough to keep it fun. So I think, yeah, as you can see here, you work from a really small beginning. It's the other way around, by the way. I started on this side. This one looks a little bit neater too. And you start increasing on one side. I'm not going to tell too much, of course, about the rate of increasing and everything. It's a garter stitch also. It looks quite see-through like this, but it does feel warm enough. And I just split it on halfway for the other color, and as you can see, it works to a point, and then you start decreasing again in the same way. It's really easy and simple, but it's engaging enough, actually. I knitted this in quite a short time. I think I could have knit this in a week, which I'm like, how is that even possible? Because it is a big ass scarf. I never thought I would be able to knit a full scarf or be like it enough to knit a full scarf, but I definitely did. So I really recommend the pattern. I really do. I think it is very versatile, very wearable. It's easy. It's a good beginner pattern even. However, it's still engaging enough. It's fun. I never thought I would say that this would be a fun pattern to knit, but I liked it. It was quite mindless, as I said, which I really enjoyed in that time. So yeah, something else about it. Yeah, first ever shawl. Last but not least, I think, would I make this again? I think I actually might, but in like a super fluffy, soft, snuggly yarn. Because this yarn is, as I said, it's a mix of llama and wool. It's quite rustic. It's a little itchy. It's doable though, but it's definitely something you do notice that there is a little bit of itch when you wear it. But I think it will be fine. If you put it on your neck, you're like, ooh, I don't want to wear this as a scarf probably. Or maybe if you're a little bit sensitive to itch, which I'm a little bit sensitive to itch, but not a ton. But it's definitely doable. Something else I would make with it is, actually, I have one here, mittens, which I'm making. These are almost finished, but didn't finish in 2023. This is the same yarn, but just in a different color. Can it show, please? Yeah, there we go. These are the world's simplest mittens. Definitely recommend them for them. This is, by the way, an undyed color. Is it gonna focus again? And this one is also an undyed color, which I think is extra special. So really good staple scarf. I also like the 2 color. I don't see that a lot. It worked out for me yarn wise. I still have some yarn left, but will be good for some gift knitting eventually. And those are all my knits of 2023. I think that's a good amount. Again, these videos, some people make like 60 things, some people make like 10 things. It's not about how much you make, it's just, for me, I think it's fun to see back, to look back about what I made and also learn from it to see what I want to make this year. I definitely learned a lot this year. I learned a lot about yarn, I learned a lot about patterns and about what I like. This is not everything I knitted on, to be honest. I have my Leon sweater. My PetiteKnit is still there. My zipper sweater Man Light. I have 2 summer tops that I didn't finish because I didn't really like them. There's a hat that I first made a scarf of, ripped it out, made a hat, the Musselburgh hat, which I'm probably gonna rip out too because I didn't like it. So there are more things, but this is everything I finished in 2023. And I'm really happy with it actually. I think it's really fun. And I still have a lot of things I want to knit on, so that's fun too. I do have a few goals, few more general goals for this year, 2024, and I would just want to quickly tell them. One of the things I really want to do in this year is make a sweater with my own hand-dyed yarn. So there are some things to choose from. I am also in the works for like a new collection, which is going to be releasing the 11th of January for pre-order. And I'm gonna start really soon with the reveals. I might have already started when you're watching this. So definitely take a look on my Instagram if you're interested in that, of course. So I definitely want to make a sweater in my own hand-dyed yarn. But I see it when I take some yarn out for myself or for a sample. I do see it as if I pay myself to get that yarn, like the base amount, of course. So I'm not like, oh my god, I made so much hand-dyed yarn, I'm just gonna take everything for myself, because that is not really a good business decision, of course. So I shouldn't be doing that. But I do really want to make a sweater because I can use it as a sample and also as something I really want to wear. But I'm quite picky in that one. Okay, it needs to be perfect and everything. So it's something I want to do this year. Also, something I really want to do is to make some colorful sweaters, and that doesn't have to be like super crazy colors, but maybe like I like blue, so I think there's quite a bit of a color pattern here. It's real messy in here now. I like some neutrals, as in light grays, but something like a bright blue or a very deep blue or a deep green. Maybe even like a pinkish orangey one. So I showed the cardigan before, which has like a pink color, which quite like. I'm not a pink girl. This is actually the first time I made anything pink or have anything pink in my closet. I like pink, but I don't really wear it. So yeah, just something a bit colorful, because I know that colors will really make me happy and make me want to wear it. And I'm a little bit in dubio most of the times with something I like, as in the style I want to wear, and then colors that make me happy. So I want to mix those together a little bit more this year with some colorful sweaters. Then I want to really make another cardigan. I already mentioned this. We're going to be doing a cozy cardigan mall make along. If you're in the Clubhouse, you don't know this yet, so that is new. We're going to be doing this, I think, if I'm correct, February and March. So I'm going to be making a cardigan again then. Still have to figure out which one it's going to be. And I think it's going to be my own hand-dyed yarn, by the way. But I don't count it as the sweater in my own hand-dyed yarn. Maybe I do, I'm not sure. So that, and my last goal that I have now set is to make one pair of socks every 2 months. So I have a bit of sock yarn, not a ton, just enough. And it's something I really wear a lot. I'm wearing them right now. I work from home, so I almost always wear my hand-dyed socks or hand-knit socks, yeah. My boyfriend really loves them. So I think that's something that we all both really use a lot. So in total, probably 6 pairs of socks. Maybe 3 for him, 3 for me, or 4 for me and 2 for him. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but it's just fun. I think it's a good in between the two. I'm working on a pair, by the way, which are almost finished, so I have another pair then. That's it. That is everything. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you liked it. If there are patterns in here you want to make and are now like, okay, I am gonna make it. Or if you have some recommendations for patterns for me. If you see everything I made and are like, oh, you probably would like this. I would always love to hear it. And again, like this video if you liked it. Follow me here for more and I will see you in the next one. Bye, creator!